one of my guests of this hour is in studio, who is a rarity in terms of head and heart all together in the same body, and a successful career that deserves all the kudos that you deserve, Eddie George. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Rich, and congratulations on this. This is awesome,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you, Eddie.
Much success to your show. Yes.
I appreciate that. You are one of 29 men to walk the planet Earth with 10,000 rushing yards in the history of the National Football League, but only 2 ran for 10,000 yards without missing a single start. That would be Jim Brown and you.
Really? I had no idea.
Is that right? You didn't know that?
I knew. I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. You're being so modest.
Yeah.
To what do you attribute that? Because I know Marshall talks a lot about moving his body in the hole to try not to get that full-on blow, but you would hit people yourself.
Well, look at my size compared to Marshall.
Yes.
Marshall had the hips, the quick feet.
Right.
You know, he was more of a scat back type. But, you know, me being 6'3" and playing at 245 at the time, I had to use my size to my advantage, and I would plow through guys, and I would make them miss occasionally, but that was my style.
And you used to tangle with Ray.
Oh, man.
All the time. You and Ray Lewis, a paint-swapping affair, as you just dispatched with London Fletcher right there.
Yeah.
No slouch. And just, this is the Super Bowl, obviously. What was it like going up against somebody like Ray? Would you get ready for that specifically that week?
It was the week of the game playing against Baltimore. You had to get your mind and spirit prepared, not the body, because the body was going to do what it has to do. Because it wasn't a game that was going to be played 59 minutes and 59 seconds. It was 60 minutes of war with him. And he was so smart in terms of where you knew we were going to run, getting the defense together. I mean, he was just that intelligent, and you just had to watch him, because he can catch you at any moment, and he can knock you out the game. I mean, it was that physical, and we would go back and forth drawing about who was the best, and we were the best teams at the time, and he had my number, he owned me, and we'd go back and forth. But those are some classic battles that I always look back on between the Titans and the Ravens before the division split.
Yeah, you used to play twice a year.
Now, the Central, the AFC Central, with Pittsburgh twice, Jacksonville, it was us, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati.
This was the Coughlin era, Jacksonville.
Oh, yes.
When people were hitting Fred Taylor.
Corey Dillon, Jerome Bettis. Those were the type of running backs in our division. This is the days when we played in the telephone booth.
Yes.
Okay?
Sure.
And it was no joke. It was no joke.
So, in one year, you ran for 403 attempts in the 2000 season. We're seeing DeMarco Murray run at a pace right now that would make that look like you were just having a walk in the park.
God, yeah.
So what do you think he is going through right now?
Right now, since it's so early in the year, he's probably loving life. He's feeling pretty good. But you have to remember that those amount of carries will accumulate, and along with that comes a ding of a knee, an injury here, separated ribs, a shoulder. Something is going to happen. I know it looks great now, but if they want to win a championship, it's going to go through him and that offensive line. They got to keep him healthy. They got to dial back the carries, split the carries, allow him just to get, no more than 20 a game if they can try to reach for that goal. Because once you start getting into 30 plus, 40, and you're really relying on him, he runs the risk of injury. In the last 2 years, he's been injured. And I think he is the key cog that's leading to Dallas' success right now. He looks awesome in that offensive line.
They're crushing it right now.
Take a lot of pressure off of Tony Romo.
What did you feel? How did you feel, though, in 2001 after all those 2,000 carries?
I had to get toe surgery, which really set me back in my career. I couldn't train at all that offseason. I had to get a total reconstruction of my toe. And it took me a full year to get back. That was my worst statistical year in 2001. And I still never missed a game. It was horrific. It felt like I was running on a flat tire, if that makes sense, where I couldn't have the bounce in my toe, bouncing off my in terms of my explosion.
Toe injuries, no joke. We've been saying that, with A.J. Green having suffered one this past week.
Yeah,
and
it's no joke.
Anytime Dion takes his shoe off, we tell him to put his shoe back on because that's how his career wrapped up.
Yeah.
Those toe injuries are no joke.
People think that it's a toe. No, it's where all your weight is being balanced, and you have the explosion, the cutting ability. And you become a different player after that.
So what would you counsel the Cowboys to do right now? Because it is all working, and it is balanced, and it is a winning style of football. Now, we did see Joseph Randle carry it very well, and, there's Dunbar there as well.
Yeah.
We don't know what, was going to happen with Randle after he had a...
What was he thinking about? Obviously,
well, he was thinking about smelling good and feeling good.
Right.
But the question is...
Were they Hanes?
No, apparently they were Gucci.
Okay.
Again, these are all according to reports.
Okay. All right. Take your word.
But what would you tell the Cowboys to do? Because it's working. They got the Giants and the Eagles coming up.
Oh yeah.
They have to keep winning football. Arizona's coming in a couple weeks, and that might be for the NFC lead for the conference.
I mean, they've got some big time games coming up. And I think what they're going to have to do is really try to spread the wealth with that and be careful with him. And because now you're getting to the meat of the season, you're setting the table up for the playoffs, and it's tempting to say, okay, we got DeMarco, let's keep feeding him, which is good. But when you think about November football and certain December football, that's when you're going to need him the most. So if I'm Dallas, and they're smart about this, given his history with injuries, you dial him back a little bit, you reel him back in, because you don't want him approaching that 400 carry mark. And given where Tony Romo is in terms of his confidence, and he's protected now, he's able to see the field better, he's not making dumb mistakes, and you're not putting the game in his hands in the fourth quarter, you kind of want to find who else can do other things in terms of the backfield to keep the pressure off him a little bit. 245
yards ahead of the next most prolific rusher, who's Le'Veon Bell. And he is no slouch. He's got a running style I imagine you would be.
I love him. I loved him back at Michigan State. And what's beautiful about him is how he's mastered his craft. I mean, he's lost weight. I think he's down like 25 pounds from 2 years ago. And just his feet. He sees the hole with his feet. You see,
what is that? What do you mean by that?
He can see his feet can get in and out of tight spots, like where your eyes see it, but his feet can do it. And he's worked very hard in the off season to work on that part of his game. Now he can do it a little too much, where you get too excited, you want to make people miss. But once he learns the balance between one cut and go and then doing a double cut inside of a hole and getting upfield, that's when he's really going to become that guy. I love his running style.
And the Steelers need him, obviously, for an offense that has otherwise a quarterback.
What is their offense?
Well, Antonio Brown is balling out this year too.
Yeah.
But if it's too much Ben and Brown and a lot of other green receivers, they need. I mean, Bell is sort of the bell cow.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh needs to find out who they are offensively, because they haven't been able to score the last couple of weeks. They lack that identity. They need to go back to what Pittsburgh is used to doing. That's running the football first, establishing the run, and allow Ben to operate off the play-action pass.
The running back du jour, though, is Brandon Oliver in San Diego. I love watching him play. He's hitting the century mark in his first couple of outings, either receiving or running. And Phillip Rivers is finding every possible receiver, but he looks just like Sproles. He wears his number.
He looks exactly like Sproles. Running style.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. The same number. And, if he can do it all, and which he's showing he can do, and that offense with everything, the Chargers look like the team to beat out of the AFC. And he's
You think
excellent.
so, huh?
When you look at it, I mean, I've seen them play against Seattle, and the way they punked Seattle early in the year, I was very impressed with that. And now they have the balance defense. They have the balance offensively with Phillip Rivers, and now Oliver is coming into fruition for their offense. San Diego is going to be a very interesting playoffs come up this year.
You're living in Nashville?
Living in Nashville.
Okay. So what do you make of the Titans running game right now? I mean, that's seeming...
It's sporadic.
It's Sankey's job right now to take, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they tried to bring in Sean Green. They had McCluster come in from, Dexter McCluster from Kansas City. They wanted to do a running back by committee, but since Jake Locker has gone down and the offense can't run through him, Charlie Whitehurst is now the starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. So now they got to find a guy they can rely on. And Bishop Sankey is the future at the running back position. But the Titans have a ton of problems on the defensive side of the football that they're trying to resolve. They got away with the win this weekend, but they really got to figure some things out moving forward.
So, can you stay for another segment?
Man, I'm here, man.
I want to talk to you about.
I like the new digs.
I appreciate that. I want to talk with you about life after football, which includes acting for you, right?
Ah, yes.
You're a thespian? An actor? Are you an actor or an actor?
I'm an actor.
Okay.
An actor.
You know there's a difference, as you know, right? There's an actor. You know, I'm an actor. An actor means that you can carry a Shakespearean play.
So I'm an actor.
You're an actor. We're going to put you to the Rich Eisen show test.
All right.
Coming up next. We'll see if you can act Shakespeare with Mike Del Tufo, our sound man. If you can do that,
then you'll give me props.
Broadway is your future, sir. That's coming up next. Scene 2 of Othello, a bedchamber in the castle. Desdemona, you're asleep. You're in bed asleep. Enter Othello.
Have you prayed tonight, Desdemona?
Ah, my lord.
If you bethink yourself of any crime and reconciled as yet to heaven and grace, solicit for it straight.
My lord, what do you mean by that?
Do it and be brief. I will walk by. I would not kill thy unprepared spirit. No, heaven forfend, I would not kill thy soul.
Talk of you killing?
I do.
I hope you will not kill me.
You're lying.
Yet, I fear you when your eyes roll so. I do not why I should fear, since guiltness I know not, but yet I fear.
Think on thy sins.
Some bloody passion shakes your frame. These are portents, but yet I hope.
That handkerchief which I so loved and gave thee, thou gavest to Cassio. Sweet soul, take heed of perjury. Thou art on thy deathbed.
Aye, but yet not to die.
Yes, presently. Therefore confess thee freely of thy sin. For to deny each article with oath cannot remove nor choke the strong conception that I do groan withal. Thou art to die.
And scene!
Wow, it's hot under here.
Now I have to kill her, right? Now
Please.
I'm scared now. Eddie, great job, brother. Great job.
Now, seriously, Eddie, I don't know how we could top that. How was that for you, Mike? Was that good? Was the staging a little off for you?
I'm sweating. It's like I get very...
It's a casual Tuesday here also on the Rich Eisen show.
Plus, I think the only previous acting experience, you played Willy Wonka in the 5th grade, right? Or you were the understudy for Willy Wonka?
Yes, that was, it was understudy. I never was the main.
Interesting.
Welcome back. There's my University of Michigan jersey. Number 90. I was class of 90.
Class of 90.
Not because I'm a defensive lineman by trade.
Yeah, 98 on Devin Gardner looks awful. That's probably what... You know what? After they beat Notre Dame, he wore 12 like last season. That's the last that we've seen of...
I got into trouble on Twitter saying it was time to take the Tom Harmon jersey back.
Yeah, just let it be.
Listen,
I got you.
Mark Harmon, his son, who's on America's Most Watched Network, it's America's Most Watched program, NCIS said his dad would be fine with it. So if he says his dad's fine with it, I'm fine with it. I love watching Devin Gardner play. It's a little bit maddening sometimes.
Yeah,
but
he's erratic, yeah.
Let's get off this subject. Let's get into, we just had fun with you acting and with Mike Del Tufo. And you seriously, making him look like Brad Pitt could be your best work.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So why acting? Why are you turning to that?
Oh, you know what? Once I stopped playing about 9 years ago, I wanted to get into television and commentating, and I was a little nervous because of the cameras, with the red lights and all. So I wanted to feel more comfortable with that. So I started an acting coach and found that it doesn't translate, from theater to television. But what I did find, I found a passion for acting in terms of character development and writing and taking a lot of that pent-up energy that I had playing football, the frustration, and display that through characters. And I got into reading the classics, got into the Shakespeare, did a few plays, and I just got the acting bug for it. And never stopped since. It's truly amazing.
That's awesome. How old were you when you retired?
I was 31.
See, so many people don't think about this because they watch you play and they've watched Marshall, I think, retired at age 34.
Yep.
And so many kids coming out of college, high school right now, playing your position. If we told them, listen, would you want Eddie George's career? They'd be, absolutely, I'll take Eddie George's career. But that means you'd have to find something else to do with your life at age 31.
And you put so much energy and time and effort and faith into building a career. And I've had a really awesome one. But you wake up from that dream.
Right.
And then you have to go on to find another mountain to climb that's worthwhile, that's aligned with your life purpose. And that's tough. A lot of guys can't divorce themselves from the identity of being a football player.
Sure.
It's very tough to do.
Especially when you're the big man on campus just drafted in the National Football League, and the NFL and the Players Association at the Rookie Symposium spend a large amount of time, and they wring their hands leading up to the event to figure out the best ways to get through to a lot of these guys. Half this room of big men on campus will be out of football by the age of 26 on average.
It's amazing.
On average. And some of these guys get it and figure out, like, I need another career starting now while I'm playing football. But you can't really blame some of these other guys for thinking differently, and just in that regard.
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that because I was at the Rookie Symposium last year. And
That's great. You should be speaking at something like that.
They do an outstanding job of bringing this stuff to light for a lot of these guys. But you have to think that it's a one-off. So once they leave the Rookie Symposium and go into their lives as being football players and pursuing that dream, they tend to forget those messages that were learned. So what I've been doing in alignment with Ohio State and the Fisher School of Business is creating a curriculum to help bring this stuff to light so you can
Fisher
hear...
School at Northwestern, right?
No,
at
Ohio State. Yeah,
Okay.
I went to Kellogg.
You went to Kellogg, right?
My MBA.
Through your
and
MBA.
back.
Good.
But it really is one of those deals where they need to hear the language, see the players, the people involved, the agents, GMs, owners, family members, and hear the stories and case studies surrounding those people so it's nothing new to them once or if they get into the position of being a professional football player. So you begin to think beyond the game of football, not just saying, okay, I've reached the pinnacle, the height of being a professional football player. Now at the age of 35 or 40, it's done.
It's so tough to do, though.
It's
so tough to do. And even making that transition from the field to television as an analyst, that is not easy to do.
Listen, it's not when the red light comes on.
Yeah.
And you feel comfortable. In the beginning, you're like, okay, you lose all your thought. You can't speak proper English. I mean, it's daunting to feel the heat of the lights and so much going on, and to have one thought that you're focused on
and have to get it out.
And get it out in 15 seconds or less. And then you have a producer in your ear, then you have a smart aleck host.
Who can carry a segment if need be.
Right.
No, but exactly right. So where do you see your acting career go? Are you doing like theater in Nashville?
I'm doing theater in Nashville. I have been for the last 4 years.
So I could go buy a ticket when I come, and I can go see Eddie George doing what? What can I see?
The Whipping Man. This January, the end of January, early February. I don't have the exact dates yet.
Okay.
But it's The Whipping Man's a brilliant play with a three-man play based off a time in history when the Civil War ends. And it's literally three people, two former slaves, and the son of the slave owner that comes back to a house. They're celebrating the Jewish holiday, Seder. And it's just a fascinating writing in terms of where these guys are going to go after the Civil War. So it relates to me because I've been through that, like what I'm doing after my life after football.
Sure.
But in this period in time, it's about slaves and how they're going to adapt to this new life. It's really well written.
February 5th through the 21st
We have it.
at
Yeah,
the
thank you
Andrew
so much.
Johnson Theater
Yeah.
in
So
Nashville,
come through.
Tennessee.
So hopefully,
I'd
you
love
know, it's the end of the year.
It's
you
after
can
the
come
Super
through.
Bowl.
After
My
the Super
schedule is a
Bowl.
little free. I'm probably going to spend a lot of time with my kids at home and wife and kids at home. But maybe on my way to the Combine,
Come through.
I can come through Nashville on the way to Indianapolis.
I'll get you a front row seat.
Well, that's the way I'm accustomed to. Now, I don't want to correct you because you said you're doing some work through Ohio State and the Fisher School at Ohio State.
Yes.
Isn't it the
Yes,
Ohio
it is the.
State?
Yes, it is the
What
Ohio
is with
State.
that? In all seriousness now.
It's the only one. You know it is. And you enjoy it, though. You enjoy
As
saying
opposed to what?
the Ohio State.
Ohio State? Like I
The
can get
Ohio
mixed up?
State.
Nobody's getting mixed
The
up.
one,
There
the
is-
only-
Let me
the-
inform you something of something. Nobody is getting mixed up as to which Ohio State it is. Nobody. There isn't a soul on the planet that when you hear Ohio State is playing so-and-so or Ohio State has gone ahead and, well, I can't sit there and say made an academic breakthrough. But I mean, I could sit here and say nobody is sitting here and wondering which Ohio State university.
That's right. They don't have to, but they know it's the one and only, the great. However you want to, whatever adjective you want to put behind that.
I mean,
Ohio
you and
State.
Chris Carter, who, by the way, is the best speaker I've ever seen
yeah.
at the Rookie Symposium.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
Chris.
Have you seen him speak there? Did he speak there this year?
I didn't see him speak at this symposium, but I've heard him speak on several occasions.
He
It's
is
fascinating.
unbelievable. Because the things they
raw.
also teach these kids too is, you know, watch out. Your rookie season, you're a target.
Oh, yeah.
You're a target when you go out. You're a target when you go online. You're a target on social media. And they give them a warning. My favorite line, Chris Carter got up there and said, when you go to the club, if you go to a club, if you go anywhere, and suddenly a lot of ladies are coming up to you and talking to you, just know this, you're not that good looking. Is what he said.
I don't know about Chris, but I know I'm a good looking brother. I don't know. Chris speak for himself, but me, even without football, I'll be all right. I think.
So if I could give you a role that you'd want to play.
Oh, wow.
Let's get this out here.
Man, a role that I want to play.
There's people in this town. There's theater people that are out there.
Man,
is there anything out there that
you know
would
what? I want to do a role like on the House of Cards.
Okay.
Like the role that Kevin Spacey plays. I mean, that to
Well,
me
what
is
about
brilliant.
let's try and get you on House of Cards, period.
That would be cool. I can
Let's
be like
work our way
the
towards-
athlete that wants to be mayor.
No, let's not typecast you. Come on.
Okay,
We're
okay,
giving
okay,
you I'm giving you an opportunity. We're not typecasting you as an athlete who
Okay.
becomes this.
That was my
You
fault.
you're on Capitol Hill, or you're a staffer, right?
Or a politician.
You're a lobbyist.
A lobbyist?
How about you're a lobbyist for the Screen Actor Guild?
I like that.
How about that?
You should be my agent. Forget this job. Let's work this together.
I will take 10%. I'll take 10%.
If you give
See,
me
all
that,
you
I'll give you
athletes.
15%.
See, that's another thing that the athletes can't handle when they come into work for the paparazzi. 10% to agents. You're like, what?
Yeah, I know. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
A million is really not a million. In real
10%.
life.
You're like, wait a minute, because athletes are not used to giving 10% of their salary to agents.
No, not
From
at
the
all.
playing field. Eddie, you're a good man.
Rich, thanks for having me, man.
At Eddie George 2727.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern, on Audience.